These are LED high bay lights. They're the, what do they call them? The UFO style, you know, the round LED lights. Big, strong, industrial looking ones. So we open the box up, got instructions. Packaging is really nice. You got a nice thing of foam on the top. Here is your anchor hook. And I mean, that thing's, you can tell just by some of the parts right off the bat, these things are solid. And they're for safety. Which is something else I thought was pretty cool. Because you can see this little hook here. Hooks in, and then we have this screw that screws in to secure it. So if there's move or something happens and the light gets hit, it's not going to become unhooked, you know. I thought that was pretty cool. But also, on top of that, we have here is like a safety retention kind of cable. So that way, if something did happen and your support broke or whatever, this you would have anchored to another spot. You route it through the part of the light itself, so it falls, and this will catch it from actually falling and hurting someone, because these things are not light. Yeah, like I said, these things they're heavy. I mean, you can see, look at those heat sinks on the back here. Ain't no joke. And let me show you the front. So these are 200 watts, and what is it? I think it's 3,500 lumen. I'll put that over here. It's something like that. But that's the other cool thing about these. We're putting these in my garage. I have 14-foot sidewalls, so that means the top raft or beam, like the bottom of it, is 14 foot off the ground, and then, you know, it's another 4 foot, 5 foot to the peak. But we're putting those off of those, so, you know, you come down, you kind of get that nice bright cone of light. So we'll put those back. I don't believe it shows it on here. I'll try to get a screenshot from the website. Actually kind of shows about what they consider, you know, the lightness and, you know, how much it lights up and how big of an area from how high. That way you can do the calculations in your own garage. This one, I'm doing 3 lights in it. I got 2 right now that I'll show you. 2 here, they'll be here in a minute. That are already up, because the third one's not, because I needed it to show you here. And it is 50 foot long, which really only 40 because I got a loft. So I'm taking out the consideration of the loft. Plus we got garage doors, and they come up and they come over. Well, that light can't go through there. They would have to be closed. So I kind of pulled off of that a little bit. And I already do have existing lights. So I wanted these to actually work independently. And I'll show you how that all works here in a minute too. So we can actually use just the light by itself and then add. So you can get the lighting area you need for your garage. Because sometimes you just need to walk around it. Sometimes you're really working on something, working on a car, working on whatever. And you really need to see what you're doing. So you need light, you know. Another one, I think these are going to come in real handy, is my lights are okay. But when I come out on a nice, when it's bright and sunny outside, then I walk into my garage. I got to take a minute because I can't hardly see nothing, even with all the lights on, because that lighting difference in my eyes have to take a minute to adjust. I'm hoping these will help with that on those days when I'm running in and out a bunch. It really can slow you down going, you know, through there. And that's even with the garage doors up and everything, and all that extra light coming in. It does it. Anyways, back to this. Huge heat sinks on the back. They do put off quite a bit of heat when you're up, you know, close to it or whatever. I need to get the heat gun. Maybe I'll show that on here. We'll get the heat gun out and see how much they do. Because when I was up there hooking them up and they came on, yeah, I could actually feel that heat coming off of them. But they're not nearly as much heat as a regular light, right? Because they're LEDs and not incandescent. 2 other great features. Check this out. So, say you may or may not want that much light, you know, the full 200 watts worth of light or whatever. You actually have a piece here. You unscrew this, and there's a dial in there that you can rotate. And they got high, medium, and low power settings. So you can, you know, if you get them and you're like, wow, that's a little too much bright or too bright for this area or that area, you can tone it down a bit. But if you need to go full out, you can go full out. They also have this here. It's so you can hook up to a dimmer. So they are dimmer switch compatible. I guess that's the right word. So you can check that out there. So if that's something that you're the one or the capability of, these are dimmable. Not all LED lights, from my understanding, are dimmable. They're either on or off. So we have, and for installation, this is one thing when I put my lights in. A lot of them are, most of them I think are all hardwired. But you got to have a box anyways to wire them into. So when I put that box there, I went ahead and put a plug there. So kind of future-proof thing. So I have plugs up there with them. So I can do something as simple as just adding these and plugging them in. I like how they gave you that option. If you want to plug it in, it's there. You know, because if you want to hardwire it, well, you snip it and you hardwire it, right? And if you're going to do that, you should know what you're doing. That shouldn't be an issue. But for the normal people, we can just plug them in. Worst case, you route extension cord through your garage, plug it in. But yeah, these things built heavy duty. They are made for, I think they feel industrial. I'm not gonna lie. These feel like they go in an industrial warehouse. Top here, and especially when you look at all the safety features. So before you can even screw this in, and I gotta point this out because if not, some people will get mad and screw it up. There's a screw here on the top, off to the side. So you gotta unscrew this one to screw this piece in. If this little piece, if this here is screwed into the threads, it won't let it unscrew through the threads. So between that, your lock here, they give you the safety device. They definitely covered their safety issues. And because of that, I do believe this is going to be a long-lasting product because the work's been put into the design to make it great. There will be a link below. You can check that out. I'm going to go, it's daytime right now. It's kind of an overcast day outside. I don't have, there's like one window really in here that's actually got a good view of the sun. It's north facing, so it's not letting in much light. We're going to show you what it looks like with my normal lights on, then with just the bright light with the two of these on. I'll show you what that is, and then I'm going to turn on my lights and then turn on the two of these lights to let you see the difference of like how much more light it does put out. So let's go check that out, and then I'm going to do it one more time, probably at the very end, where I'll go ahead and show. I plan on getting this hooked up today here in a few minutes after the video. So tonight, when it gets dark, I'll show you with just all three of their lights on, and I got a feeling it's going to be bright. So let's take a look at what we got set up so far. All right, so you can see on every 10 feet, basically, we got a light here. These are turned off right now. Light here, and these I did 10 feet apart as well, just in a different spacing, kind of offset a little bit from my previous lights. But they're just, I just found that the plug that I used for my garage door opener was up there, has a 3-way on it. So I actually hooked these into a smart switch though. So I can use my Alexa to turn these lights on and off now because I've ran them, they're hardwired into a plug, or they're just plugged into a device. That's the other thing I like about plugs. You can get those little smart switches for $5 or $10, and you just literally take any device that plugs in, has a hard on off, plug it in there, and you're good to go. So now these lights are kind of smart lights. So, all right, I'm gonna go turn off my current lights. You can see the brightness level right now with my current lights. So let's turn that off. You can see it's not too bad in here. I mean, we only got really that one window letting all this light in, and we do have the reflective stuff around it. So let's go ahead and turn on this middle one here. And that's the other thing, I guess, if you see, I don't know if it's something to do with the smart switch or what exactly it is. They are slightly illuminated because there's a little bit of, I guess, electric coming through that smart switch. If someone knows what that means, let me know. But I don't mind because it's just kind of a, residual nightlight kind of thing. And hopefully maybe with all three of them, it's going to be bright enough that I don't have to worry about turning on a light when I come in, between that and my little greenhouse there. All right, so anyways, let's turn the one on. Computer, turn middle light on. Woo, yeah. So now, let's take a look around. All right, one more time. Computer, turn middle light off. Computer, turn middle light on. So yeah, I mean, that one light, I wouldn't want it to light the whole place up, because especially like up in the loft, but that's, yeah. And it's not quite center, but for between the loft and here, like I said, where I use these for, it's like, I mean, that one light lights the whole garage up. But now we can do, computer, turn front light on. Computer, turn on front light. So that's that one. And now, take a look at that. And we're going to do a third one back there. And that's only those two lights. Nothing else is on in here. And I mean, this area is illuminated. So I really like the crossover. The distance they travel is easily 10 plus feet at those 14 feet. And then, like I said, I'm going to put the other one, it's going to go like right here, I think it is. And so these 3 lights are going to light up this entire 40 by 30 space without a problem. And I mean, they're so bright. We got shadows, and that's where most of our lights coming through. Now, let me turn on my old lights. You can see, I think they well complement each other because they do get rid of a little bit of the shadow, but you couldn't even barely see anything. Come on. Hold on, let me turn them off. Turn it on. Other than on the side there, it's like those lights don't do much at all. But I mean, they fill in some of the gaps because they are farther off to the sides. But yeah, like, I can't believe how bright they are for that price. So, highly recommend. I am in love with these. Maybe getting more. I believe they're completely kind of getting off script, but I think they're not like I had a script. I think they are waterproof and all that kind of stuff. I'm gonna see about maybe putting one outside somewhere. I might have to order some more. I know they sent me these, and now they got me as a customer. It's almost like they do that sometimes. I'm gonna be the first company that got me on that when they send me good stuff. But hey, good stuff is good stuff, right? So if you want some light and you want some real light, definitely check these out. The quality's there, the brightness is there. I haven't had any wrongdoings or bad dealings with even their people that send up this stuff. Sometimes they seem a little sketchy, but they've been great. No complaints. So far, big thumbs up to this company. Definitely check them out. Like I said, links will be below. And